This was supposed to be a simple question. So why did a U.S. official refuse to give a straight answer on Africa? What you're about to hear exposes a much bigger problem.
Thank you.
Representative Cherfilus-McCormick.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Undersecretary Helberg, for being here today. The U.S. government and the African Union Commission recently agreed to establish the U.S.-AU Commission, Strategic Infrastructure and Investment Working Group. This is a breakthrough. For the first time, we are explicitly aligning U.S. commercial diplomacy with African-led solutions, specifically the AU Agenda 2063, and its vision for integrated, prosperous content. This isn't just a diplomatic gesture, it's recognition that Africa's market, soon to be $29 trillion economy by 2025. Indeed, we can't afford to ignore the fact that Africa is the world's next greatest frontier. With a population of 2.5 billion by 2050, it means that 1 in 4 people on the planet will be African, with the largest labor force. Truly, I move beyond and now, To truly move beyond non-reciprocal nature of AGOA, do you believe that we should codify this partnership?
So I completely agree with your diagnosis, Congresswoman, on the strategic importance of Africa. In fact, that's one of the very reasons why the administration and my office in particular has been very engaged in the resolution of the conflict between the DRC and Rwanda. Our office has been very focused on a subset of that issue set known as the REEF, the Regional Economic Integration Framework between the DRC and Rwanda that aims at promoting investment in infrastructure as well as mineral security in order to deepen our economic partnership with the DRC and Rwanda. Mm-hmm. I traveled not too long after being sworn in to the Ivory Coast, where I was able to meet a lot of different heads of state because in sub-Saharan Africa, the heads of state attend each other's inaugurations, which provided me with an opportunity to do a lot of bilateral meetings. I met with the newly elected president of Senegal, the former president of Niger, along with several other presidents. And our administration wants to engage Africa a lot more.
I want to go back to the original question and make sure we have it clear that you do agree that it should be codified?
So I'm not going to comment on the administration's position on AGOA.
No, this is not about AGOA, but what we're talking about is the progress you've already made, that commission. Do you believe, the reason why I'm asking you is because I have a bill that actually does exactly what you guys are doing. And I just wanted to go on record that you agree with it so we can bring it to the floor. Do you agree with it?
And sorry, agree with what exactly?
So we're talking about the U.S.-AU Commission Strategic Infrastructure Investment Working Group. You have the working group. You guys are strategically working on it actively. And do you believe that it should be codified? Because I have introduced a bill that actually does the same thing. So regardless of what administration is present, we have it codified and we'll be working on it consistently.
I'd be happy to follow up with your office to look at the details of the bill that your team's developed in order to have a more informed view on it, Congresswoman.
Okay, wonderful. My next question is, you've spoken frequently about using policy levers to shape corporate environments. As we look at the competition for critical minerals and digital infrastructure, the data is clear. Africa is home to 1.3 billion customers and the world's youngest workforce. I want to get on the record a few things that we might see if we agree or disagree of how we can actually work together to move this forward. Do you agree that restrictive visa policies, which prevent African entrepreneurs and investors from visiting the U.S. to close a deal, undermines our commercial diplomacy agenda?
So I do think that visa decisions, which I will say does not totally fall under the authority of my office, but I do think those are different than our ability to engage a lot of African countries. And I'll give you one example. In the last week and a half, we rolled out a $200 million foreign assistance package that actually helps provide access to low-cost smartphones in the Indo-Pacific. We believe that that's potentially a model, if proven successful, that could be replicated in other geographies like sub-Saharan Africa. The reason why I think it's important and related to your comment is because access to American technology doesn't just promote access for American companies to those markets, but it also helps encourage entrepreneurship in those countries. It gives entrepreneurs the tools to be able to build businesses and actually build a livelihood for themselves.
So I understand that point, but I want to get back to the importance of the visas and the culture competency. A lot of the conversations we're having with stakeholders, especially in Africa, they feel insulted by the visa restrictions and trying to understand the insult, the injury, and how we can remediate it. I just want to point out the restrictions and the effect it's having on the entrepreneurs who we want to engage. And then my last question, I only have 17 minutes, is the role of the African diaspora within the United States. What role or what vision do you have to incorporate them into the process to make sure things like the cultural differences, that we don't want to offend anybody?
Sure. So we, as the Economic Affairs Secretariat, we are very focused on the economic relationships between our companies with those places, and we really try to deepen our bond between the U.S. and strategic countries in sub-Saharan Africa through business relationships, through investments. Our supply chain security is the low-hanging fruit because a lot of those countries actually have a lot of opportunity to contribute, to make unique contributions to our supply chains. As you know, the Consular Affairs bureau at the State Department is the bureau that oversees visas policy. We do not, and so they would probably be much better suited to answer your questions on different parameters of our visa policy with sub-Saharan Africa.
All right, thank you. I yield back.
Congresswoman Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick came in with a focused, strategic vision. Strengthen U.S.-Africa partnerships, lock in long-term investment, and treat Africa not as charity, but as a global economic powerhouse. And she's right. Africa is not emerging, it's arriving. We're talking about a projected $29 trillion economy, the youngest workforce on Earth, and a future where 1 in 4 people globally will be African. So what did she ask? A simple, direct question. Should this U.S.-Africa investment partnership be codified into law so it survives politics and becomes real policy? And the response? Deflection, delay, we'll follow up. That hesitation matters, because here's the truth. For decades, U.S. policy toward Africa has been inconsistent, changing with administrations, lacking long-term commitment, and often missing the moment while competitors like China move aggressively. What Cherfilus-McCormick is pushing for is stability, strategy, respect. And she didn't stop there. She called out something many politicians avoid: visa restrictions. African entrepreneurs, people trying to build businesses, close deals, and partner with U.S. companies, are being blocked, delayed, or outright discouraged. That's not just bad optics, it's bad economics. You cannot say you want partnership while slamming the door on the people you need to partner with. And then comes the bigger picture. This isn't just about Africa. This is about whether America is serious about competing in the 21st century global economy. Because if the U.S. doesn't step up with real, consistent policy, others will. This moment exposed a gap between what is being said and what is actually being committed. And that gap? That's exactly what leaders like Cherfilus-McCormick are trying to close.